All right, guys, let's start working. Let's start work. Wait, no, sorry. Let's watch this video. So this right here is Scumbag IRL streamer begs to be released in Philippines. I bet he does.
Government to throw him in prison.
I will go to jail. I'm a proud man. I love jail.
Mocking them while being arrested and detained, to now begging them to release him from prison. This might be one of the dumbest instances of destroying
he wants to be released.
He definitely did it in record time. Obviously, we're talking about Vitaly, who's the Russian-American streamer who essentially speedran destroying his own life for some views on the streaming site kick.com. Because let's be real, any sane individual would never steal a security guard's motorcycle in the Philippines. But obviously, he didn't even leave it at that. He also stole a police officer's hat, taught them to do something about it. He stole an industrial fan. He stole an LED mask. He threatened to rob an elder lady. And then he harassed dozens of citizens while live streaming everything for the whole world to see. I mean, just doing that in the US, that is insane. But you have to be a special kind of moron to fly across the world to the Philippines and do it there. Brother, that's a PvP server. You are no longer in the land of bailing yourself out for a grand and getting a slap on the wrist.
What's going on with them? Hey, they're gonna follow. How's it going?
Honestly, you can definitely find out here in the States. But
is that a bot?
You can definitely F around.
Antonio? Anton? 111 Spike 3663?
Any sense whatsoever. But there's been some updates to the Vitaly saga, including some interviews with his attorney and the secretary Romulo, the dude who perp walked him out in front of the entire country. And I feel like this goes without saying, but you are definitely in a really bad situation when, you know, they bring you out on national TV and say they're going to punish you to the full extent of law. That's not a good start. So obviously a lot has happened since I last talked about Vitaly. Since then, I brought on a Filipino attorney to the channel where he claimed that Vitaly had no shot at being deported before his criminal trial. He also said that he would be held in a detention facility potentially until his trial is over.
From how I see it, the government is doing everything they can to detain him. Because if they will just stick with the criminal charges, he will just post bail, then he will be free.
If you don't know where to start in Top Heroes World, the Springland is a great place to start. There are low-level enemies and villages.
Yeah, in cases like this, the most common thing, or generally what governments usually do, they just detain the undesirable alien for a couple of days, weeks probably, then they just deport him.
Yeah.
But here, that's not the case. They want him to be held liable fully for the criminal charges. And then they're playing around with the deportation proceedings, I'm assuming now, to maximize the detention of him during the pendency of the cases.
So,
I mean, they're making an example out of him. That's what, like, literally what it is. They're making an example. Like, he, like, messed up so bad. They're like, yeah, we're gonna make an example out of him, or else, because, like, it'll continue happening. Like, people would have, like, for the most part, people would have been at this point. They probably would have let him go if everything else didn't happen. If Johnny Somali did never happen, they probably would have let him go.
What's going on currently? Well, apparently Vitaly is now a changed man. And honestly, a few weeks in this detention center will probably have you completely rethink your life. I'm pretty much going to make it my life's mission to never end up there. But unfortunately for Vitaly, though, it seems like the Filipino government and people are not buying his new spiel whatsoever. But first, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Incogni, because if you've ever seen your personal data or information on the internet, Incogni's new custom removal feature allows you to actually submit a link, and if eligible, Incogni will actually go after that site and have your information taken down. Because unfortunately, your information is probably on the internet for someone to find if you've done any online shopping. I guess this is just kind of like the sad reality we now live in, but hey, if you use Incogni, you essentially have given it a perpetual quest line to take down all unwanted information about you on the internet. Because unfortunately, data brokers are a massive problem. That's why you're being spammed by all sorts of telemarketers and scammers, because data brokers, they take your information from various sites and they just sell it to the highest bidder. The only problem is there's way too many of those sites, and you're gonna have to email every single one a takedown request for your information. And before you know it, you're spending more time doing that than a part-time job. And that's where you can save a whole bunch of time with Incogni, because as I mentioned with the quest analogy, they manage all that for you or your family, as they've now introduced unlimited family plans where they can scan the internet for the information and automatically send takedown requests for your entire family. And they'll keep checking for you to make sure that your information isn't put back into the system. I've now been using Incogni for a little bit over a year, and it's already had 651 data collectors take my information down, which has saved me roughly 488 hours. So I'm happy there's a solution to this massive problem. So if you're dealing with these same issues, you can use code Atozy to start taking your personal information off the internet right now. Personally, I'm already extremely happy with the service because the amount of spam calls I get right now is like nothing compared to a year ago. But again, sadly, that's just kind of like the tip of the iceberg for what data collectors collect, because the crazier stuff would be your shopping habits, address, social security number, and employment history. So I'm grateful Incogni actually wanted to sponsor the channel and allow me to promote a product that I personally use and enjoy. So again, if you think Incogni can help, you can go to incogni.com/Atozy by clicking the link right down below in the description down below to start taking your personal data off the market right now. But other than that, let's continue the video. So recently, they did an interview that's mostly in English, but apparently it's Taglish with Vitaly's attorney. And this is what they had to say. And it's safe to say he's having a terrible time over there.
When was the last time you saw him? How is he?
He is better now. I saw him just last week. I think I saw him late last week. He's better now. I'm saying better because he was not really good before. He's in a very bad place, emotionally, psychologically. Of course, alam mo naman it's a detention facility in the Bureau of Immigration. But of course, it's still kind of a jail that is meant to somehow punish detainees. So he was really not doing well before. Nang nag-visit ako one time, before he was able to say hi, he just started crying and couldn't stop crying. So, as counsel, I'm not there as an emotional support. Pero, of course, wala akong nagawa but just to cry with him, pray with him. He's now better because he found his space.
I'm honestly shocked that it took him this long to realize the consequences of his own actions. Again, he went to the Philippines to commit felonies for attention on the internet. I feel like anyone with some basic common sense knows they don't mess around there.
Nagbabasa na siya ng Bible. I brought him for devotion, daily devotion, and he's doing better. And he's just hoping that when the time comes, may encourage an opportunity to ask for the forgiveness of the people he offended and also of the Filipino people. And talagang sising-sisi yung tao, Liza. I didn't want to take the case because I was also very mad about what he did. But, we are a Christian nation. We believe in forgiveness, and I hope that dumating tayo doon because this guy is really a changed guy. And she wants to see.
Yeah, no, man. He did it to himself. Let him rot in prison. It is what it is, man. He did it to himself.
Forgiveness.
Opo.
Unfortunately for Vitaly here, though, his largest hurdle is himself and his past. He's been arrested multiple times doing stupid stuff for content all around the world, and been arrested for doing even worse stuff. Then, on top of that, he spent a whole day taunting the police and Filipino people, saying that nothing would ever happen to him.
Exactly.
If he actually went to jail, he would enjoy it. Then obviously, he live streamed himself doing all the crimes, so he's really fighting an uphill battle here.
It was stated in the statement, attorney, about the letter that he sent to our officials, pleading that we drop the case.
The letter, that I think they tried to send that. They sent that Modern Vitaly before I was their counsel. And nabasa ko naman siya. It's the focus naman, I just hope to clarify, the focus is not really about dropping the cases. It was about forgiveness. So hindi naman yun.
He wants forgiveness because of where he has to deal with, like, where he's at right now, because it sucks. But, like, bro, you should have thought that before you did what you did. You know what I mean? Like,
ayun na namang legal aspect yung kaso. That's my job. Pero sa letter, it was more on a plea for forgiveness. So yung about the cases that are about to start, ang ano ko lang naman doon, the preparation is mainly for the prosecution because prosecution goes ahead of the defense. But I'm hoping to be able to show during the first few days of trial that everything that he did wrong was done in jest. Wala siyang criminal intent. It was tasteless jokes, pranks. Yung violation kasi ng...
Okay, some of that was kind of hard to pick up, but I'm pretty sure what she just said was their entire stance is essentially, it was just a prank, bro.
Pretty much. This is funny. Pretty much. That's like the weird
It's kind of
defense.
depressing that it's all gone down like this for Vitaly, that he's now in miserable conditions in the Philippines, but the dude made his own bed, and I'm worried that
It's his
excuse will
fault.
not fly there. The fact that he was, I guess, one of those people in 2015 who
Like, I don't feel bad.
viralized it was just a prank, bro, and now a decade later, it's almost like it's his legal defense in the Philippines, and he could be facing multiple years in prison there.
Yep.
Yeah, this
It's
is
just a-
all just a skill issue. This is just really poor.
It's just a
life
prank, bro.
Positioning here on Vitaly's part.
Again, as to the criminal aspect, we hope that the court will see that criminal intent was not in his heart or in his mind.
Yes, it was. He said it.
Okay, I mean, honestly,
He said on the
I
stream.
believe he didn't have any criminal intent. I think he really is that dumb. You have to be a special kind of
No,
stupid
he
to
literally
land
said it
yourself
on
in this
stream.
situation to begin with. Even when he was confronted by the Unlocking Philippines guy, he was essentially saying over and over again that he didn't believe he did anything wrong and nothing was ever going to happen.
Yung trial nito, would it last a year for the hearing?
Well, it's we have continuous trials. So I think masyado every other week, but we hope to get faster trial dates. I hope it be done in 4 trial dates, because in the information there are 4 witnesses who are also the complainants.
Oh, right. It's purple now, not yellow.
No matter what, he's stuck in this detention center for a while. Johnny's been stuck in South Korea for like 7 months now, and he's only had 2 trial dates so far. And from what I've heard, the Philippines court system is extremely backlogged. So this could easily be 1-2 years of trial procedures.
Yeah,
for
it's not
Vitaly
yellow.
here.
It's not blue anymore.
What
It's
an
actually
absolute
orange.
nightmare. This whole situation was just so avoidable on his part. Who in their right mind would do all of this for some attention on the internet?
Witnesses in the information, which is 4, then there's a 1-day 1 witness rule. So that should be 4 trial dates. You include arraignment and pre-trial, which is for 1 day. So that's 5 trial dates for the prosecution. I hope na matapos siya.
Yeah, it's not yellow. It's
in a
orange.
month
It's
or
purple
two.
now. I
Okay,
forgot
so
about that.
obviously this interview
Purple
is
and
in
orange.
Taglish. So there's areas I'm kind of skipping through that I absolutely do not understand, but she's hoping for the first court appearance to be in a month or 2. And the key word there is hoping. But they also interviewed Secretary Romulo, who was the guy who walked him in front of the whole country, and this is what he had to say.
Can you give us initial information regarding that, Secretary?
Well, in the series of videos naman that he had, it is more than 3 cases of unjust vexation. Meron pa siya yung mga motorsiklo, meron siyang inaras sa matanda, meron siyang hinalikan na sa security guard. So if you look at the sum total of what he posted, it is really more than 3. Nagpas talaga siya sa 3. So may parang naghahanda pa ang prosecution ng a couple of more cases para sa kanya.
I feel like I'm lagging when I'm listening to Taglish because I understand about like 50%. It's like I have like 1 bar cell service and some of the words are coming through and everything else is just not. But from what I understand here, they're looking at more charges or cases, which they can do because, you know, he live streamed everything. The dude, again, is his own star witness against himself. Congratulations, you absolutely played yourself.
They're just preparing additional cases, sir, to file.
After investigation ng prosecution, may marami pang lumabas na ibang witness. So, inaano nila, ini-examine nila yung merits ng case at they are about to file it, I think.
So yeah, he basically confirmed there that more cases are dropping. Again, why would you ever put yourself in this situation for internet attention? I get kick money was good, but it's definitely not enough to deal with all of this, especially if they charge him with stealing that motorcycle, which he live streamed himself doing, because unfortunately for him, that's an automatic 20-year prison sentence there. Essentially, his
Ain't
life
no
is
way,
now in the hands of the
dude.
prosecutor and judge over there.
Wow,
They
I
are
did not know that.
duplicious.
Wow.
They are malicious, and they are making a mockery of the law.
I mean, at
Yeah,
this point, he made
does
his
not look
bed.
good for him.
He even
Yeah.
steamed it. There's not a crease in that comforter with how well Vitaly has made it. And now, I guess he just kind of has to sleep in it and figure out what the repercussions will really be. So it's safe to say it's not looking too good for Vitaly. Just like it's not looking too good for data collectors either with Incognito in town. So check out incognito.com/Atozy to start taking your personal information off the internet ASAP. But hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe.
Bro, that sucks, man. Imagine doing 20 years. 20 years minimum. Do I think they're gonna give him that? Honestly, over in Philippines, I think so. His life is over. Vitaly is gonna be forgotten. Nobody's gonna remember him. By the time he gets out, everybody's gonna go, who is he? The world would just move on. They let him out and just say it was just a prank, bro. Like forgiveness does not mean freedom or from consequences. 100%. They'd probably maybe a little bit lenient, like probably give him lesser sentence. So I don't know, but honestly, bro, it's just he recorded everything. If he's having a bad time in immigration detention, Felicity, just wait until he gets into real prison. Yeah, that's the worst thing. Prison is the worst, by the way. As a Mexican American living in the Philippines, I remember watching him back in the early days of YouTube. He should have had stuck with the lighthearted pranks like the originally made him famous. Unfortunately, this reflects the kind of content that seems to resonate with today's generation. Instead, I have to add Filipinos are some of the kindest and most genuine people I ever had pleasure meeting. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad. I legit do not feel bad, honestly. I really don't feel bad. He said he did it to himself. Like, who's gonna feel bad for him, honestly?